So I want to welcome everyone who's joined already to our webinar hosted by Westend. And today you're going to hear from three of our panelists, and also you'll see our videos already shown. I'm Candy. I'm the marketing director here at Westend. We also have Costa Berdanis, who is our developer. You'll hear some construction updates from him. He'll talk about the property, how it's being developed, and the construction of it. And as well, you'll hear from Stefan, who's our Chief of Compliance, and he's going to walk you through a bit of the more formal details, such as taxes, some of the fees that you'll be responsible for paying, and general real estate purchases in the Bahamas. So I want to start you off with a bit of a promo video, just so you can appreciate Westend and everything that we're going to talk to you today about. So we're very excited to share with you more information today about Westend, a development that is currently in the pre-construction phase. And we are excited to present to you the opportunity to invest in Westend, which is now under, we began construction in April. And so we'll tell you a bit more about that later. But for right now, what we do have currently offering at Westend are 68 condo units that range from 1, 2, or 3 bedrooms, either at 875 to 1330 square footage. And here's a rendering of what one of the condo buildings would look like. And on the right-hand side here, we have a rendering of our private exclusive townhomes. They're limited in number. We only have 12 of these. They're 3-bedroom, about 1850 square foot, and they feature a garage as well as a private garden area and a pool in the backyard. Also featured in the amenities of Westend, we'll have 2 resort-style infinity pools that are coming complete with cabanas and lounge chairs, so you can sit and relax by the pool, as well as a clubhouse area. On the first floor of the clubhouse, we'll have an entertainment lounge. We can host guests, have people over, invite them over for drinks. There'll be ample seating in there for large parties. And then on the upper floor, we'll have a fitness center and gym that overlooks one of the pools, as well as the rest of the property. Now, a lot of people have been asking questions about where exactly Westend is located. Are we directly on the beach? The answer is no, although we're not officially on the beach itself. We're very short distance walking to the beach. So here you can see is our 5+ acre lot where the property is going to be constructed. You'll exit here and just walk up this road here. It's less than a block. And then for the locals here, this is West Bay. You'll cross West Bay Street, and here is a little footpath that you can go to access the beach. And although this is going to be a public access path, we pride ourselves in knowing that we're going to give back to the community by keeping this area clean, free of debris. We'll have our janitorial staff come in. We'll have trash cans lined to clean this area, every day, to make sure that you don't see empty beer cans, litter, strewn across the place. So it'll be clean and pristine for you as well as the surrounding community. We're probably also going to put some solar lights there to light your way. So it's not directly on the beach, but it's a very, very short distance walking. And here's a portion of Love Beach you'll see here with the turquoise blue waters. And also in regards to the location in respect to the rest of the island, the property is a very close driving distance to a lot of other notable destinations. Firstly is just a 5-minute drive from the Nassau International Airport, which is here, as you can see. We're also very close in proximity to the exclusive residences in Lyford Key and Albany, those two communities. They have, internationally recognized golf courses. So you're very close driving distance to those. I believe it's about like a 5 to 7-minute drive. In addition, if you drive along a scenic route here along the waterline, you'll reach Bahamas Resort within 7 minutes, 10 minutes tops with traffic. Here, they're slated to open a water park. I think it's later this week, even on July 2nd. There's, lots of options for fine dining. There is casinos, nightlife, bars. It's really a one-stop shop for entertainment, and we're very short distance away from there as well. And if you just go a little bit further east, you'll arrive at downtown Nassau and Paradise Island, where we have the Atlantis Resort. So really and truly, the island's not that big, but we are in a prime location where we're close to very notable destinations on the western side of the island and on the northern side. In terms of how to get here to Nassau, if you haven't been here before, we offer, we're connected to a lot of major cities in the US, as well as in Canada by direct flights. A lot of these flights are about 3 hours or less. And we're, the closest big city would be Miami here, which is about a 30-minute flight hop over. Not featured here, we also have direct flights going into Atlanta, as well as Charlotte, I think in North Carolina. Those are two big connecting hubs for airlines. And those are also direct flights. And not to leave out our European clients, we also have a direct flight from London operated by British Airways that takes about 7 hours. So you can there's no excuse or no reason why you're not able to get here. It's very easy by flight. And so I want to take you to meet our designer a little bit, Alan. He is our designer who's based in Canada, in Montreal. He is an award-winning designer. He's won several awards in Canada, including the Commerce Design competition in Montreal, as well as the Montreal International Design competition. And recently, I believe he was awarded the Pierre Paget Award for his outstanding contribution to Canadian design. So he's a very well-respected, renowned designer in real estate. And here I'm showing you just, a brief slideshow of some of his works that he's done. You can get a sense of his design style, the clean lines, a lot of warmth, minimalistic yet modern is kind of his signature style. You can see more of his designs at his website. I've linked to below here. And Alan has done and completed works all over the world. In Montreal, of course, his home base, as well as in the Caribbean, in St. Bart's, I believe in Dominican Republic. He also has done work, as well as now in the Bahamas. So we're very excited. We're very lucky to have him on our team. And the next person I want to introduce is Costa. You see him in our panelists. You'll see him, and he'll talk in a minute. And I just want to introduce him. Everyone on the island, if you're familiar with real estate and construction, you've probably heard of Costa. He's very well respected on the island for constructing homes that are sturdy and built to last, built to withstand the storms that we experience here on the island. He has completed a lot of work in very exclusive living residential communities here, including Sandyport, where he also serves as on the board of directors of the Homeowner Association. And he's also done work in Old Fort. And I believe he recently finished some villas at the Bahamas Resort. So, Costa is very well respected on the island, and we are definitely very lucky to have him also on our team. And with that, I will pass you off to Costa, who's going to walk you through some of the details about the construction, the property, and give you some updates.
Okay, good afternoon, everybody. Nice to be here with you. So I'll just give you a little outline of what's on screen, and then I'll take some questions at the end. This is basically an overview of the 5-acre development. On your left side bottom, there's the 2 and 3 bedroom units, which range all the way down the left side of the property, all the way up. Those are 3 blocks, and they're both consisting of 2 and 3 bedroom units. The construction style that we chose obviously a solid block with concrete infrastructure. We've got all of our structured walls being concrete with steel footing foundations stemming right from the ground. And the reason I mention this is because we've got our rating code is one of the highest you can get here. We're getting 250 and maybe even higher. So we can withstand pretty much anything that nature throws our way over here, where a lot of developments, don't put a lot of emphasis on. We've put a lot of emphasis in making sure that your investment will be there for as long as you will. And so saying that, we also have the 1-bedrooms, which are on the right-hand side. Candy is highlighting them with the mouse. Those are the 1-bedroom units. All the properties will have beautiful garden views. We've got 2 pools, which are a little hard to visualize with this one, but there's one there, that's for the clubhouse. The side that the Candy's on now, the 4 buildings before the townhouse, they're all for Airbnb or long-term. We have 24-hour security. We're going to have someone on staff, obviously, for secretarial work, which will be in the gym area complex. So someone will always be there to take care of the Airbnb clientele and the long-term clientele. We can manage the property for you. I think if you want, we're going to be creating a management team for that. I don't know if you want to move on to the next slide, but I can. This is more of a direct view of the 3-bedroom units and 2-bedroom, and next to it will be the clubhouse. The clubhouse has a nice honeycomb design, not very easy to build, but very aesthetically very pretty. The upper view will give you opened up to the pool, and we are now in the townhouses. These are the luxury townhouses. There's only 12 of those, and I think a lot of those have been reserved already, but there are still a few left. They have their private garage downstairs. This is the back of the house, which you have your own soaker pool with a nicely landscaped buffer in between each unit, with a little balcony on the top. So very stately, very quiet. The views are beautiful sunsets, beautiful trees, and you're obviously within footsteps to the ocean. I just want to mention what Candy said about the footpath. That's 40-foot wide footpath. So it's not just a footpath, it's 40-foot wide. And we with the community will just, right now it's vegetated, and but it's beautiful. It looks very natural. So we're going to try to keep it that way with putting maybe a few benches and some chairs, chairs, and / maybe some solar lights in case you want to take a stroll at night. But that beach there offers an incredible surf capability when the weather accommodates for it, because it has a nice reef, a barrier reef, which is probably about 150 to 200 yards past the beach line. And so when the surf's up, that's the place where you can surf, or you can go inside the reef and just enjoy snorkeling or swimming. And obviously it's a beautiful beach. These are some of the internal pictures of our 2-bedroom units. Obviously you can see that we are trying to do a nice seamless look, very minimalistic, but also coastal, modern, just make you feel warm, but a lot of light, a lot of big doors. This is the view inside from the bedroom into the bathroom. And as you can see, it's clear through, very modern. Lana's done a great job with this. I think the interior design, we have nothing like this in the Bahamas. It's the first time something so modern and so clean. And so I think you'll be very impressed with the design. These are the color choices which you have to choose from when you choose your unit, which Candy will assist you with, going through it and taking care of that for you. Once you've chosen your colors, you just sit back and relax and just let us do our thing. This is also color choices, yeah. The construction date, we have started the infrastructure sometime in April. The infrastructure, it's all going to be underground. So you'll have brand new underground utilities and fiber optic cable for the internet. So you will have a lot faster internet speed than your standard older communities. And we should be done within 18 months to 2 years after that date. We should be very close to completion. We'll be delivering some of the units by the midsummer next year, maybe by the end of the summer. But definitely by December, we should have a lot of the units up for readiness. All the foundations have already started. We'll have all the foundations finished by the end of July. So that'll be great. And I think we have a live camera shot there video, which you can actually log on to our website. And you can actually go onto the live and you can see live pictures. So that'd be great. So
So, yep, that I
that's our
thank you.
live, that's our live picture now, Candy, right? Of
No,
our,
this one is a screenshot from this morning. I
oh,
didn't
speaking of
include
this
the
morning,
live
okay.
because it might have gotten a bit buggy. But if you do log on to the website, like Costa said, you'll see the link at the bottom of the homepage. If you scroll all the way down, you'll see the link for the live webcam. So you'll be able to check out probably Costa later today. Headed back to the site. You'll see his truck. You probably see him walking around this area as they're doing some active work there today.
Right away, yeah.
All right, so moving along, we did mention in our flyer in the email newsletter that we have some big announcements today. So this here is going to be your first one. Like what Costa said, we're moving at quite a fast pace in terms of the construction. And if you've been following construction news, on the island, there's kind of been a surge in the demand for construction materials. And so we decided that beginning on August 1st of next month, August 1st, we'll be increasing our prices. They're about 7 to 8% price increase for each of the unit types, and you can see them listed here. And so, if you've been on the fence, whether you should, invest now or invest later, you're kind of waiting to see some walls go up before you want to invest. Hopefully this is going to be a push for you to, make that decision because you have 1 month until prices are going to go up. And as Costa is again well-renowned, well-respected, so you should have no problem knowing that these units are going to be delivered as close to the renderings as you've seen as possible. So with that said, payment schedules are not going to change. It's going to remain the same. I'll just briefly go through it now, just to catch everyone up so that we're all on the same page. So in order to reserve a reservation, in order to reserve a unit, there's a $10,000 deposit due on the date that you sign the agreement for sale. You also have to fill out our reservation form, which I will be more than happy to help you work through. Following that, when the agreement of sale takes into effect, you'll be required to make your first deposit, which is a 10% of your purchase price, and that's less the $10,000 that you already paid. Following this, we have a set of 5 different payment, a timeline with 5 different payments. The first payment will be due upon groundbreaking, and that's going to be 20%. Another 20% is going to be due upon completion of the second floor. Then you have 2 payments of 15% each upon completion of the roof and the installation of windows and doors. And then the final payment will be due upon the conveyance, which is going to be the remaining 20% of your purchase price. And continuing on with the fees that you are going to be responsible for includes the HOA fees, homeowners association fees, which are currently assessed at 75 cents per square foot. You'll be paying that monthly, and that includes basically everything in everything in the common areas, including property maintenance, as well as also includes insurance, which is quite an important thing to note. So you'll be paying for the property maintenance, including the pool areas, the clubhouse, and the gym. As well, we haven't mentioned it before, we're going to have a full backup generator that's on the site that's going to be included in your HOA fees. So, that's if you've lived on the island before and you're aware in the summertime, especially backup generator is absolutely essential. So you'll be rest assured you'll have power when power on the island goes out. We'll have the full backup generator up and running for you. In addition, it'll include the waste collection, the janitorial services, like Costa said, the 24-hour manned security, as well as landscaping for all the garden areas, as well as gym membership so that you can use the fitness center that's included in your HOA fees. And so far, I've been telling you about all the fees that you're responsible for paying, but Westend is also a great investment potential to potentially earn you money because we have some flexible rental policies set in place. Costa briefly mentioned that as well in his when he spoke about the property. All units will allow long-term rentals, and what we consider to be long-term is actually quite short, relatively speaking. It's only 30 days, so you're allowed to, any of the units are allowed to be rented for a minimum of 30 days. Certain units, if you remember from Costa's slide, on the unit on the side where there's the 1-bedroom units, the 1-bedroom buildings, those are going to be allowed for Airbnb and short-term rentals, and that's less than 30 days. So you have quite a few options available to you, if you are deciding on a unit and you do want to do eventually for Airbnb. Please be sure to let me know when you're selecting a unit so that I can go ahead and help you pick the right one that's perfect for your needs. And with that said, we also have some rental projections that are available. We've been revising them just because we're doing the price update, but they should be ready by end of day today or tomorrow. So if you want to have those to review, I'd be more than happy to send them to you. And then so following this, we're going to hear from Stefan. He's going to talk about real estate in the Bahamas, the process of purchasing, and the additional fees that you may be responsible for when you go through with the purchasing. So Stefan.
Yes, thank you, Candy. Good afternoon to everyone. Basically, I'm going to start with a few words about the legal process for purchasing real estate property in the Bahamas. There's nothing very special about it, but let's go through the basic steps. So normally the first thing I would like to mention is that at Westend, we are dealing with a local law firm, Sattery and Associates. They are located in Sandy Port, and they are working for our development. So they are the firm, the legal firm, who prepare all the legal documentation with regard to the acquisition of the units at Westend. But it's always possible for a purchaser to also hire their own legal counsel to represent them with regard to the purchase of their unit. This is not mandatory. They are not obliged to do so, but it's an option if they prefer to be represented on their side. Now, because at Westend, we are targeting both the local market and the foreign market. So obviously, we have and we're gonna have foreign purchaser. In that particular case, foreign purchaser need to get some kind of approval to move forward with their acquisition. Namely, there's currency exchange rules in the Bahamas between foreign currency and the Bahamian dollar. So normally we need to get some kind of approval from the central bank. There's a few other approvals we need, but normally this is something that easily done. And our law firm is responsible to proceed with those applications on behalf of our Westend purchasers. Next slide. Basically, the transaction timeline again is very easy. So normally, the client sign a reservation form. Then we need to perform a KYC on the purchaser for AML purposes. This is now something that we need to do under some rules in the Bahamas. When the KYC has been clear on our side, normally what we do, we start working on the agreement for sale that will be entered between the purchaser and Westend. This is what we call the execution of agreement for sale. And when the agreement for sale is executed, as Candy explained you earlier in the presentation, we start with the stage payment process, meaning at the time of the execution of the agreement for sale, the 10% payment. At the same time, also, we initiate the regulatory approvals that I just mentioned about a few seconds ago. Now, following the execution of the agreement for sale, the purchaser's attorney start, asking for documentation from ourselves in order to eventually proceed with the conveyance that will occur at the stage of occupancy later in the process of the Westend building. Now, something that is very important to mention here is that we are going to be able to provide to purchaser title insurance from a very well-known insurance firm in the USA. So this is very important because maybe as you know or you don't know, sometime titles issues could happen in the Bahamas with land ownership or real estate ownership. So we have been very fortunate, and this is something where we have spent a lot of time, efforts, and money to make sure that we have a very clean land title on the property, and that we're going to be able to offer to a purchaser a very strong title insurance coverage. Next slide. Then when all those details are settled between purchaser and Westend, normally we go throughout the building process with the stage payment just mentioned before. And then at the moment that conveyance executed, which is normally at the same time of occupancy, legal title is transferred to the purchaser. And at the post-completion stage of the transaction, the purchaser attorney pay all the fees required that we will see a little bit later in terms of VAT, in terms of property taxes, etc. Next slide. So a few words about taxation in the Bahamas. So obviously people living in the Bahamas knows a lot about it, but it's always good to clarify those items, especially for foreigners. So what is great about the Bahamas, beside the climate and the people, is that there's no income tax in the Bahamas for individuals. So it means no income tax on dividend, interest, royalties, payment, rental, or employment income. No estate or inheritance tax. And this is something that could become very important with what is going on right now in countries in North America and Western Europe, where governments are on the verge of introducing or increasing estate and inheritance tax to pay for the COVID-19 deficit and expenses spent since 2020. Same thing for wealth tax. There is no such wealth tax in the Bahamas, and no capital gain tax, meaning that when a real estate owner resell a piece of real estate in the Bahamas itself, there's no capital gain tax. Next slide. So obviously the Bahamas need to finance its activities. So basically how the government of the Bahamas raise money, there's various ways where the government raise income, but one that is maybe more relevant for purchaser of real estate properties in the Bahamas is the VAT, the value added tax that we call, for example, in Canada, GST. So generally speaking, there's a 12% VAT on goods and services that are provided in the Bahamas. There's a very few limited exemption for food and medicine. Now the VAT on real property transaction or sales, what we used to call until a few years ago the stamp duty tax, is at 10% on properties value under $2 million, and starting next month, this is very new, The VAT has been increased to the general rate of 12% on properties of value at more than $2 million. So obviously for Westend unit offerings, the VAT will be 10% on the purchase price. In the Bahamas, the VAT is payable equally between the vendor and the purchaser. So it means that when a purchaser buy a unit at Westend, he or she should expect to pay a VAT of 5%. Something also quite interesting about VAT is that obviously, as I said, VAT is applicable on rental income, but you don't need to register if your yearly revenue from rental is below $100,000. So if you rent your unit and you earn less than $100,000 on a yearly basis, you don't need to collect the VAT, remit the VAT, and register for the VAT. So this is very flexible compared to other countries where it's not the case. Next slide. Real property taxes. So this is another way for the government to raise income. So there's an annual property tax on real estate located in the Bahamas. The first $250,000 is fully exempted. Then the rate is 0.625% for the value between 250 and $500,000, and above $500,000 is 1%. And if the homeowner pay his bill before April the 1st, he may get a 10% discount on his total real property tax bill. At completion of the transaction, the purchaser costs he may expect are, as we just mentioned, the 5% VAT, its legal fees, including if he choose to or she choose to hire his own legal counsel to represent him in the transaction, the real property tax that we just spoke about, and the title insurance fee, which is based on the value of the price of the property. Now, something that could be also interesting for foreign purchasers. Most of the time, foreign purchasers buy their real estate investment in the Bahamas through an international IBC company, an international business company. So that could be very useful in terms of confidentiality, flexibility. So this is an option. And eventually, if a purchaser is interested to better understand the advantages of using an IBC to acquire or purchase a unit at Westend, we will be very happy with our legal counsel to discuss it in further details. Now, when foreigners purchase real estate in the Bahamas, they could apply for a permit to reside in the Bahamas on an annual basis. In fact, sometime they could also apply for 2 or 3 years permit to reside. So normally, depending on the country from where the homeowner comes from, his nationality, he may stay up to 90 days or 6 months, a year in the Bahamas on tourist visa. But if the homeowners wants to stay longer in the Bahamas, it's quite easy for a homeowner to get such a permit to reside. Now, if you want to look at the long term, foreigners may also apply for permanent residency in the Bahamas. That is good for life. If he or she buys a piece of real estate in excess of $750,000, and this threshold could apply for a single unit, or could also be applicable if, for example, you buy 2 units and that the combined purchase price is in excess of $750,000. This permit to reside does not give the right to work to the applicant, but normally we could qualify them as what we call economic resident, and it gives them the right to work within their own business. And when you have been granted by the Bahamas the status of permanent residency, that is good for life, after 7 years, you may apply for a citizenship of the Bahamas. So yes, just in conclusion, we are going at Westend to hold on July the 6th a special webinar on permanent residency because maybe, as you know, there's a trend now for wealthy people to seek a second citizenship or a second permanent residency abroad. So we are going to host a special webinar, which is going to be quite early for us, meaning 7 a.m. But that's to allow us to, accommodate people who live abroad, especially in Europe or in Asia. Thank you, Candy. I think that was it for me.
Yes, thank you, Stefan. So now, hearing all that, I'm sure the question in the back of everyone's minds is, I want to buy something, what's still available? So here I'm just going to walk you through our current availability, and that's been updated since about 2 weeks ago. And what you're looking at here is a bird's eye view of the property. So you're looking straight down onto the roofs of each of the buildings. And here is the ground floor. So each of the buildings will feature 2 floors. This is going to be the ground floor. The units colored in yellow are the ones that have been reserved already, so will be unavailable for reservation. Highlighted in gray are our exclusive units. And then all of the non-colored ones are the ones that are still available. And as Costa had briefly mentioned earlier, they are consisted of buildings that are either 2 or 3 bedroom units, which is here on the northern side of the property. Here are our 12 townhomes with the private pool in the backyard. And on this side of the property, the southern side, you have the 1 bedroom units that's in building G and J. And then here is another set of the 2 and 3 bedroom units. And these again, on this side of the property, these 4 buildings are eligible for short-term rentals. And again, all of the properties, all of the buildings are going to be able to do long-term rentals, which again is only 30 days. And here is our upper floor. And as you can see, our upper floor units, most of them have already been reserved. So again, if the pricing update as well as all the progress on construction isn't enough to motivate you to reach out to us to make your reservation, hopefully seeing all the units that have been taken up already will give you that final push. And we're always welcome for you to stop by our showroom. We're located in the Lyford Key Shopping Center. That's just at the Lyford Key roundabout above the Allen Brothers restaurant. You can reach out to me. This is my direct line. You can text, call, or even WhatsApp this number and I'll respond to you. And email us here at our email address if you'd like to set up maybe to stop by the showroom to see the finishes that Costa mentioned. We do have them in person here in the showroom, so you can touch them, feel the texture of them, and kind of get a sense of how it's going to look in your home. As well, please visit our website here, linked here, westendnassau.com, which again, you can check out our webcam, our live streaming webcam. You can see the progress on the construction, 24/7. Costa and his guys are actually there even on the weekends. So you'll see action there anytime you visit. And again, you can find us on all the major social media networks, Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. And here I invite you to have any questions. Please let us know if you have questions for myself, for Stefan, or for Costa, or any other general questions. I think you can raise your hand in the Zoom meeting, or you can just type it in the Q&A box. Let me just open it. So again, I hope this webinar was useful, that you learned something new. And again, we made some pretty big announcements during the webinar, and you'll be receiving them in official email format soon following this webinar. So for an official announcement, look out for it in your email inbox. We'll be sending those out soon and making all the announcements on our social media pages, again, on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. And again, I encourage you to ask any questions that you may have. If you don't think that it may be too simple or anything that we didn't address, please feel free to ask. And also, I know Costa has a busy day today, so if you think of something that and we're not here to answer it, please do email at info@westendnassau.com. You can reach out to us anytime, either by email or call me on the phone. If you think of something after the webinar is done, please feel free to reach out. We'll be happy to answer them for you. And we didn't mention it, but Costa is also available for site visits. So if you or your client is visiting, or if you just like to go and see the site, we do offer client site visits. So if you just reach out and schedule it, I can reach out to Costa and we can take you on the construction site so you can see them at work.